Today I'll give you my perspective on the War Within expansion of World of Warcraft. As we draw closer to the release of Midnight, I wanted to create a permanent reminder on what the War Within meant for me. But before I start, I would like to introduce myself to you. My name is Lavoid. I play main druids. I love them dearly. The World of Warcraft druid class is just perfect balance of attack and support that I like to see in my gaming characters. Well, a little bit less support than I normally like. I started the War Within with one thing in mind: a target. During Dragonflight, I was feeling less and less involved in World of Warcraft. I can't really explain it, but let's just say it was a mix of raiding, doing keys, and PvP. Mentally, I was keeping myself from enjoying the game. The content is too hard. I'm going to mess up, and those were the problems I faced. However, with the arrival of the War Within expansion, I started to challenge myself. First in keys, I thought the content would be incredibly hard. I could constantly mess up and people would be incredibly unforgiving. Just as the Dragonflight was ending, I achieved an 800 rating, which for me was unbelievable. Next expansion, I wanted to go higher. I found an awesome guild with awesome people, and with them I started my new fresh journey in WoW. Season 1 of the War Within expansion launched on September 10th, 2024. With it came many new content changes. We were welcomed by brand new raids that deepened Forgotten Nerubian Empire. The raid was challenging. Bosses gave us challenging encounters rich with many mechanics. Cyanide was released a few months later, with an artifact ring which gave us new powers to use in our battles against oncoming foes. The content was easy. You get a quest and transport to an island, where you farm 3 world bosses, and a daily weekly quest which give corresponding currency which you use to summon said bosses and claim rewards which empower your ring even more. Delves gave us a solo content that was easily the best content introduced in WoW for solo players. They were challenging but not too difficult for starting players, or too easy for veterans. Zekvir, Hand of Harbinger, was a delve which you had to defeat. A boss that was very hard to defeat for solo players. Those who managed to defeat them were rewarded with a mount, title, and achievement. Mythic Plus in Season 1 was a mixed bag for me. For the very first time, I tried reaching 1800 rating, which I reached with a lot of work. The dungeons were hard, some of the worst ones in the expansion, and I still dread the day they return. I'm not fond of them at all. Season 2 came with Undermined patch. Undermined came with a bang. Goblins tore down the wall and we just walked right into their domain. The patch was extremely fun, but also not without its controversies. Personally, I loved it. The first time in my WoW career I tried to achieving 2k rating and actually getting 3000 in Mythic Plus. This was also the second season in a row we as a guild achieved a full clear of normal and heroic difficulties of the released raids. AOTC, or Ahead of the Curve, is an achievement players get after defeating every boss in a raid on a heroic difficulty. First time in this expansion I ever tried to doing mythic raids, and actually defeating the first 2 bosses. Of that one I am proud. I managed to defeat Underpin, a hard delve boss that came with its own set of difficulties. Question mark, and question mark. These weren't as difficult as Zekvir, but I still needed some time to get to know the tactics and his attack patterns. The rest of the Season 2 involved me trying to get as high rating in M+ as I could before the season ended, and helping my guildies with their own respective achievements. In this season we also had a special belt item we could use to enhance our stats even more. It was also used in so-called supercharged delves, which I honestly haven't played much. The item personally was quickly replaced by Season 3 and it felt very underwhelming.
Until we meet again, Valeria.
Season 3 brought more of the same. A questline into a special item, which by this time felt really good. It was a cloak that served us from the beginning of the expansion to the end. The only drawback to it, we needed to wait a couple of weeks to get to its full power. Unlike other items, this one served me very well as a tank and protected me for some well-deserved wipes. The Mythic Plus in this season was challenging, but not difficult as previous seasons. Again, I achieved 3000 reading and AOTC for defeating heroic Manaforge bosses. These were extremely difficult, and Dimensions alone took my guild over 100 tries just in Phase 1 to progress further. Mechanically, it was one of the most difficult encounters I've ever participated in, let alone tanked. But it's still not as hard as Hagan the Unclean. This time, I haven't really raided Mythic raids. The content just seems too difficult for me. The delves are still here. This time Kai'Veza returns from Season 1 raid, and she's insanely mechanical, almost to the point of being unfair. I still haven't defeated her. As we slowly approach to the release of Midnight, the content seems to get better and better. We get daily events, daily prizes, and we even have had Legion Remix. A fun content where we had to defeat Legion threats with new sets of powers. On that in a later video.